We interrupt your broadcasting today for a public service announcement.
The team's all back together today. We're part of a committee discussing the future of Texas. So we're trying to find a problem and find a solution to it.
Diversity is a big problem. I think that what we need to do, all live in tugboats. Don't know why, just think that's a great idea. Mine is going to be called the SS Tug Life. Does anyone else have any ideas of what they want their tugboat to be called?
So the team's coming up with a bunch of crazy ideas, and I don't necessarily know what they're thinking, but I think I have a somewhat legitimate idea.
Guys, I've got something. Something good.
This is Grayson, and he has an idea. But then we all decided to share what the future of Texas will look like.
With these, like, the technology will become further and further immersive to where we're no longer just like wearing goggles. Like, we could actually be living in a computer, like maybe in those like weird Wall-E chairs where they're like floating, and then there's all the like the really fat people just like paying attention to the reality world. And rather than like communicating face to face and getting any work done, you're just living inside of the computer. And maybe even then you'll like be bored of that reality, and then you'll go into another reality, kind of like an Inception effect where it's a dream inside a dream, but like a virtual reality inside a virtual reality inside a virtual reality.
So as healthcare gets better, like the longer people start living and the more babies are born. So with the whole healthcare system progressing at the rate it is, I think that overpopulation will actually be a really large problem. And like with everyone crowded in such little space or limited space, I think that the standard of living will go down and that traffic will be really bad, which will lead to pollution and all sorts of health problems that the healthcare system will then have to deal with as well.
The future workforce will be technology-centric. Every company will have to be, in every industry will have to be a technology company to survive.
It's funny because it's clear Grayson doesn't know what he's talking about.
Because of this, knowledge-based job opportunities will be in highest demand. Things like engineering, math, and science will need to be used because of the increase of computers and robotics and computer software. Additionally, manual labor will be less significant as our work becomes increasingly global. We'll see the rise of technologies such as video conferencing and virtual reality to be used in the workforce to have a digital workspace.
So right now we have a lot of air pollution. All this air pollution is being contributed by different gases from industrial activities, human activities, even cow farts.
Did she just say cow farts?
So all these gases that are in the atmosphere, they're trapping the heat in, which will eventually cause a huge climate change. So in the future, we'll probably have extreme weather changes like floods, droughts, hurricanes on the daily. And so, probably not the daily, but very common. And so then there will also be ocean acidification. So that's where the water in the ocean will rise and the polar ice caps will melt. And basically humanity's a little in trouble when that happens.
So as we approach our overpopulated future and the high-density urban environments, we're going to be pitted with the question, are we able to feasibly commute with the inevitable gridlocks we're going to face on the roads? And so with double the cars on the road that's coming with the population that's coming, we're going to be forced with the predicament of pitting the rate of our technical evolution versus our biological evolution. And so in order to sustain and maintain our feasible commuting, we're going to be forced to first maintain and provide adequate space and maximize transportation, while also not being able to accommodate everybody, such as children, elders, and the disabled, all while not stretching our budget too thin. And so given the nature of this problem, we're going to have to learn to adapt, innovate, and change and our modern methods of commuting at a fast enough rate to surpass the growing population?
I think Daniel knows what he's talking about. The issue that our team is going to address is the problem of water scarcity. By 2040, according to Rodney Hill's lecture, at least 3.5 billion people will run short of water. And by 2050, fully 2/3 of the world's population could be living in regions that have chronic water shortages. Water innovation is going to be the next new big thing on how to collect and cultivate it in efficient manners. Globally, or by 2030, there will be 40% less drinking water than is needed to keep up with the population. And according to the Water Council, the recycled sewage will be the main source of drinking water for many places around the world. Our group has created a plan as well as a prototypical model to help conserve water in the typical household. One of the largest wastes of water is the irrigation of home lawns for mere aesthetic pleasure. This is seemingly unnecessary considering the water shortage that we will experience in the very near future. We would start by coming up with a plan for cities that would require people to irrigate a grass lawn. This would be called the Texas Lawn Smart Irrigation Initiative. The transition will occur as residents will be encouraged to gradually reduce their watering habits. They will be encouraged through tax cuts, and some of the tax cuts will be given when the residents start to remove the grass from their lawns and replace their current lawns with native species of plants such as succulent plants and rocks that do not require watering.
Rocks? Rocks for a lawn?
Au contraire, we're gonna have succulents and we're gonna have decks. We can plant them, we can, just arrange them in all sorts of ways. It's been done before, we won't be the first. It'll be so pretty and we don't have to waste any water, my friend.
Patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty. 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 My music's so loud, I'm swinging. They hoping that they gon' catch me riding dirty. Trying to catch me riding.
That's funny.
Another thing that, in order to save water, that we can add is having drains in the lawns of residents that can catch the water and put it into storage tanks. Once it's in the storage tanks, each house can have a filter that actually lets them reuse the water and use it in their tap water system in their house.
So no more incoming water, you just reuse and you reuse and then you don't have to water your succulents. And this is going to be perfect because the future, this is really what it really needs. And I'm really excited. I was trying to hold back at the meeting, but here we are and I'm just letting it all out.
I can tell, Asti. So each house will have a tank that can filter out the rainwater that is collected from the newly landscaped yard. And this can work with every resident having drains in their yard that collects water runoff. And as the runoff is collected, it will go to the barrel, which then filters the water and makes it usable for the tap water system inside the house, drastically cutting the need for the city water.
Okay, this is cool and all, but Ryan and Hasti really need to chill.
Well, it looked like coming together as a team worked out after all. We were able to explore the future of Texas and came up with the Texas Lawn Smart Irrigation Initiative to solve the problem of water shortage and drought in Texas.
Or at least attempt to.
Or at least attempt to.
Texas Lawn Smart Irrigation Initiative.